over at night,
Right.
2 or 3.
This bed folds out. I mean, this couch.
Pulling back this sweet sofa.
And lots of games of Scrabble in here.
And everybody has a fan at night. Every room has a fan
Yeah.
for the white noise.
I noticed.
We got pictures in here too.
Yes,
Oh,
a
good.
whole bulletin board of Mom and Dad.
And
Go way back.
And all up and down the staff.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the freezer open?
We've got the freezer, because you said leave it open. You remember? You said it will cool off faster. It'll warm
yeah.
up
This
faster.
used to be the great hall, and in the old cabin, it was quite a bit larger, wasn't it? And
No, it was just the same size
Tell
as
me.
this.
Let's
But
see.
we had all those windows that pushed back, you know.
Uh-huh.
So it just seemed bigger.
So it seemed bigger as a small child. It
Right.
seemed bigger. Yeah.
That's the system of that.
Yeah, I can do all that before.
Let's go down and have a nice boat ride. The weather's not very nice today.
No, the sun is not out, but the lake is calm and up. It's very high. The water's very high today. Yeah. Oh, man, that's about it.
Let's go for the boat ride.
This is
Oh, look at this wall. Isn't that beautiful? Gee, I'm so proud of you.
I feel like he should have scratched his name on this. Somehow, get some real money. It's gonna be here for decades.
Mom, tell about the time that you and Dad had the trip over the whole lake looking for land.
Oh, yes. Well, Steve Shelton was somebody that Roy knew. They were in the same war, but Steve had a Cub airplane. And Roy said, Steve, I want to look over the lake and check on the coves and find out where we could put our cabin. So we flew over here, and we flew over Draper Mountain, and flew over the lake, and saw this spot, and we thought, you know, that just reinforced our feeling that this was the very best place.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember how scared I was, because I was sitting right there, and he said, here, you take the control. And we're flying toward Draper's Mountain, and I said, I can't. He said, just put your hand on that.
Uh-huh.
And I did, and just shook to pieces. I was so scared.
Did you fly down low over this site?
I just held it even. I just laid my hand
Uh-huh.
on the control.
Well, Mother, did you pick out this spot by air before then you found a road?
That road was there all along. That used to be the road that was called Ferry Road. And there was way down here at the bottom of the mountain, there was a river flowing along. And there was a ferry there. And the name of the owner of the ferry was Mr. Lincoln. And this was a landmark. So we could tell where the location that we wanted the cabin to be by coming down that road and seeing where it went into the lake.
Well, this was a man-made.
Well, we're looking at the back side of the property now. The tree that we're looking at is at the top of the hill where we walk the property line. Zooming back now, we get more or less the whole mountain peninsula, if you will. And this out to the tip here is the back side of the property. It's roughly 6.5 acres.
That's right.
And recently it's been told that a bald eagle has a nest up on the tips of the trees near the cliffs in our property.
One time, Bob took the little boys, Travis and Matthew, for a long walk. They walked up the mountain, and when they got to the top, they saw the squared off patch of strange looking leaves and plants. So Bob picked one and brought it down and said to us on the front porch, anybody know what this is? And Amanda said, that's marijuana. And we found that there were 40 plants up there. And when we told, and the kids said, Grandma, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to call the sheriff. Oh, don't call the sheriff. Oh, but I am. So I called the sheriff, and he came roaring out with his lights blazing.
State police. That's who
State
it was.
police.
State police.
That's right. That's better than sheriff. And so he came out, and they walked up Bob and led him up the hill to the marijuana patch, and they ripped those things out. And they said, I don't know why we didn't see those, because we flew over here last week looking for marijuana. And so he took them all home, and I put a piece of it. Amanda pressed it and put it in the guest book. And there it is today.
Mom, I don't know if you remember, but our boat had just died that same week, and we were trying to figure out how to scrape up enough money to buy a boat. And when the state police told us how much the street value of the marijuana was, Matthew replied, we could have each had a boat.
That's right.
What was the street value of it?
It was like, state police said it was something like $90,000 or something.
My
You know, they always
I remember that.
they always overestimate.
Right.
And here's the Johnny house. It's been years since we've used this. Since we built the new cabin, we put a bathroom in it. Hardly anyone ever uses it. It's almost abandoned.
Oh, a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tavis, we're just filming. You keep on doing what you were doing.
Tell me about how it was, the primitive conditions of the old cabin.
Well, now that you've seen the Johnny house, which we used to call Mrs. McGillicuddy, when we first came out here, we had a shelter. We didn't have any running water. We had to cart everything out from the bottom of the road right through that path on a wheelbarrow. But Roy said, let's try a cistern. So he attached a great big drum to the end of the kitchen, and we caught the water off of the roof. We had a gutter that came down and poured, and I had cheesecloth on the top of the drum to keep the bugs out. And it would come down into the kitchen, and we would boil that water. Much better than lugging it up the lake. So we'd boil that water and wash our dishes in. And that was our waterworks. He had put a sink in there, and that was a great improvement.
Well, how else did you manage in the kitchen without any electricity?
Well, I'll tell you, we had oil lamps, and we'd bring the oil out on the wheelbarrow. We'd bring drums of oil, and then we'd bring ice, and then finally we got a Kelvinator refrigerator that burned oil and made ice cubes, and that was a great invention. You know, to have ice cubes out here.
What'd you do about your stove?
Well, we had, let me think, we had a gas stove.
Gas stove, that's
Gas
right.
stove, and we had to have a drum brought out, you know, the gas cylinder,
That's
which
right.
we kept at the back door. And that pipe, Roy figured out how to get that into